Hey everyone, I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, and today we're going to be talking about NFT centralization. I've seen a lot of different platforms becoming more and more centralized that offer NFTs and have an NFT marketplace. We're going to talk mainly about VeVe and Omi because I see that being pushed the most. It's promoted by huge celebrities and financial influencers and, like people like Logan Paul, Andre Gic. So really concerning to me that they're promoting this kind of stuff and you can't withdraw. We'll dive into that and more about what's wrong with that and a few other examples of NFT marketplaces that are fully centralized, KYC, all the nonsense that is completely against the ethos of crypto, but newbies who are coming into the space who are like, oh, NFTs are so popular and I can make all this money and da-da-da. So they just go and they just use whatever is available and they don't notice or are aware of that they could do it in a decentralized way, which is exactly what you should be doing. And we'll dive into all of that after a quick word from my sponsor today.
A big thank you and shout out to my sponsor Cake Wallet, which is an open source, non-custodial Bitcoin and Monero wallet that also has a built-in exchange. It's available on iOS and Android.
Okay, so let's go through some of these examples here. First, we'll go through the two quick examples and then I'll focus on VeVe at the end. And I mean, these are also pretty big, but VeVe I've just seen promoted so much and it's like the most egregious, I would say. Actually, it's hard to say because they're all really, really bad, but we'll talk about all of them. So the first one is the lightest example because you can withdraw, thank God. Crypto.com, which is a massive exchange, lender, and now they have an NFT marketplace as well. Mind you, I want to be on record here to say that I actually think Crypto.com will be the next lender to fall, like so many have been falling before them. And I'll talk about that in a different episode, but I just want to be on record here in case it happens tomorrow or something. So yeah, do keep that in mind. You can see here that when you go and sign up for crypto.com/NFT and you get registered, you have to fully verify and verify your account, which needs KYC, in order to buy, sell, and withdraw your funds. So naturally, that's pretty concerning. Anyone who knows KYC is linking your full identity, giving them a driver's license, and basically preventing you from doing this in a decentralized way. Some people might say, yeah, no, that's not an issue for me or whatever. But generally, you want to avoid KYC where possible. And I've talked in depth as to why that's the case before, so we won't get into all that. But this is the first example. This is the only real bad thing about Crypto.com is that it's centralized. You're doing everything within their ecosystem and it has to be KYC'd. I'm not totally sure if you can withdraw the NFTs or not. I don't think you can, but I'm not going to KYC to find out. So that might be another caveat that I haven't looked into. But this is bad enough that you should just not be using this at all. Obviously, OpenSea and there's many decentralized marketplaces where you can trade NFTs. That's where you should be doing it. And you should always hold your NFTs in your own wallet, just like crypto, like we've always said. Don't leave them on these lending applications. Don't leave them on exchanges. We've seen time and time again of why that's a problem. All right, we'll move on from crypto.com and talk about Theta. I've always criticized Theta for years and years and years. And then when they got a huge boost in price, everyone came back to my videos and said, well, this didn't age well because the price was so high. So they're like, if the price is up, then you're wrong. And, lo and behold, the price is now exponentially down and lower than when I originally made the video. So, it is what it is. But that's the whole crypto space. So let's throw price aside because I've never really argued that price is what makes something legit or not for this exact reason. They finally allowed you to do a withdrawal from Theta. This is the screen that you get. You can only withdraw to their Theta Drop NFT marketplace platform. When you check here, you realize that you can only do 400 T-Fuel every 30 days. And at the current valuation, that's $20 a month. Okay, so regardless of, they finally have withdrawals. Okay, well, you can withdraw $20 a month. That's literally nothing. If you have any substantial amount of money, it's literally nothing, right? That's a few $100s a year. That's pathetic. You could have $1,000 in here and it takes 4 years to get it out. Like, that's mind-boggling to me that people think that's legitimate. Funnier than that, if you actually try to do a transfer here, you're prompted with the screen letting you know that you can't withdraw this from their NFT platform. Their NFT platform doesn't even have withdrawals. So they've enabled withdrawals to a place where your money is stuck and you can't withdraw it. It's like the scam rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper and deeper with every iteration. And people will see this video and still say, oh, well, you've got it wrong. I mean, someone commented on my video today and said, you're not telling the full story about Theta. I operate a node and I'm doing fine. If you looked at my old videos, I said the only people really benefiting are the node operators. And, that's exactly the case. So yeah, you could see that, and you can go here and you can find all the same stuff. Essentially, Theta just has all of these ways to prevent you from getting your money out. Plus, they have KYC. So if you want to withdraw from their NFT platform, you have to KYC. And then when you try to withdraw, you realize you cannot. So you do all of this stuff and you still can't withdraw. This is probably the most egregious example. And VeVe is a little bit of both of these examples. So we'll talk about that now. And again, Theta is just, come on, guys. When I say a platform is terrible, I say stay away from it. I say it's more than likely a scam. All these things, a lot of times I get fought on it so much. And then over time, it tends to play out that it was pretty much accurate as to what I said originally. The only single case that this hasn't really played out fully is Hex, though the price of Hex has completely toppled. So, I don't take any solace in that, but, the reality is that all the stuff that's been done behind the scenes was very, very sketchy. Anyways, VeVe has a lot of restrictions. And the reason that I think this is the most concerning is because it's so heavily promoted. Even I, along with many other fellow influencers, did a small promotion for VeVe way back in the day, like years ago. And I regret doing that because, it's not a very good system here. So, and you see people who are massive, millions and millions and millions of followers, Logan Paul, Andre Gic, they're telling people, oh, I'm investing in Omi. I'm buying NFTs on VeVe. Get on VeVe. You want to get on there if you want to get NFTs. And the whole allure is like they have an augmented reality thing for their NFTs. So people think it's really cool and fun way to, share their NFTs on social and make it much more marketable. That's great. But the NFTs are stored on there. It's regulated through the app market. You're not even using real cryptocurrency. You're using gems, which are bought through the app market. So a lot of this really comes down to the control by Google and Apple. Currently, there's no withdrawals at all for normal people. And you can see here, this says the payment system for VeVe. And you say, okay, how does it work? Let's check it out. If you actually go on the main site, it will tell you that on the main site here, it will say, you can't transfer gems. You can't do pretty much anything with gems. But if you want to actually get your gems out, the feature is currently in testing. You have to be invited to join. What that means in my mind is only the influencers who have been shilling this are right now being allowed to cash out with your money. And that's probably what's happening right now. I shouldn't be laughing because this is actually really terrible, but I laugh because I've been saying all this stuff for so long. And if you had been paying attention and listening to what I was saying, then you wouldn't be in this mess at all. Yeah, here we go. Yes, you have to do everything through the app market. Okay, well, I can't really find exactly where that was, but they have this that they posted on June 30th, very recently, talking about everything on Medium. So we'll just use this because this is easier. When I originally looked, it said a minimum of 50 gems to withdraw, but apparently now they're saying you need 100 gems to withdraw and a maximum of 50,000. So that also means that if you make a crazy amount of money, it's going to take you a while to actually get that money out. Like if you made $1 million, it's going to take you a couple months to actually get that money. But the most sketchy thing of all, well, part of it is you need to already have a balance, a minimum balance of 1,000 gems. That means you need $1,000 in your account. So if you put in $100 You buy an NFT, you sell it, now you've got $200. You're like, nice, I literally doubled my money. I'm so excited. Then you go and look and it says you need $1,000 to withdraw. So essentially they're saying you need to deposit another $801, convert it to gems, and then withdraw. But then when you do that, you realize there's actually a 10% fee applied. I'm not sure where it says that. It should be somewhere in here, but there's a 10% fee that is applied. Yeah, here it is. Payout fees. There's a 10% fee taken from your payout. So they're forcing you to put money in only to take that money away from you. Or they're just hoping that you're saying, okay, screw it, I'll just keep waiting until I get enough, or the minimums change. Anytime you see these kinds of all these obstacles and requirements and limitations on withdrawals, very, very sketchy. You should be running away from stuff like this. It is very, very concerning. Beyond that, they also have to do compliance checks, meaning that they have to approve manually every payout. So you're still at the behest of them doing a compliance check and doing all this stuff as well. So this is probably one of the most centralized, regulated NFT marketplaces that is very, very popular because obviously Theta is worse since you can't get out at all, but Theta isn't very popular. So this is, though, because I see this promoted by massive influencers, and I'm sure crypto.com is pretty up there too because they have so much marketing. So this is just saying, like, be careful. Unfortunately, I don't think most people are going to be able to get out of this. And you have to KYC, right? I don't think most people are going to be able to get their money out. Even if they do, you have all these problems that you're going to run into. And it's just really, really sad to see. And hopefully people avoid stuff like this. I always make these videos to continually reinforce the narrative that if there's KYC, if there's limitations on withdrawals, if there's centralization, if you're not actually holding the NFT yourself, like they hold the NFT, you don't hold it in your own wallet. If they're doing all of these things combined, all these red flags together, you should never be involved in anything like this. I wouldn't even be involved in a project if it has one of those red flags, simply just if they have KYC, if I can't hold my crypto myself or my NFTs, if they have massive limitations on withdrawals, massive fees, approvals for getting your money out. There's just so much here that just makes this the sketchiest thing ever. And it's very sad to see all these like famous people promoting it and probably a lot of people getting in, not realizing, not checking if they can even withdraw. I say this a million times. If you don't know what you're doing, try depositing a tiny amount of money and withdrawing it. And if you can't, stop right there, put it down, delete it, uninstall it, count that $5 deposit as a loss and just call it a day and never go back to that. That's pretty much it for me, you guys. Avoid centralized NFT marketplaces. I'm sure there's so many other ones out there that I can't get to, but I'm sure there's so many and I just haven't found them yet or haven't run into it. This is just to give you an idea of what that looks like and why it's so concerning for NFT centralized marketplaces when you're not using stuff like OpenSea. And I don't know a lot of NFT marketplaces because I don't do a lot of NFT trading, but things like OpenSea and similar ones for other chains that have NFTs. That's the way you should be doing it, holding your NFTs in your own wallet. Don't leave your NFTs on these applications and these services. It's just as sketchy as leaving your crypto on exchanges or on lenders. They're all going bankrupt. You don't want to be involved in this stuff. Plus, I mean, like crypto.com might go bankrupt next. So if you have your NFTs locked up in their NFT marketplace too, then that's a whole other issue as well. Just stop messing around with all this nonsense. None of this is financial advice, mind you, but I'm trying to save you guys money. Just stick to the stuff that actually works. It's actually holding up decentralized values and the values and ethos behind blockchain and cryptocurrencies. Avoid all this nonsense. Let me know, was I off with any of this? Are there any other NFT marketplaces that are centralized that you want to call out or give a shout out to a decentralized NFT marketplace? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you've been essentially scammed by any of these services yet. Let me know all that good stuff in the comments below. And since you watched to the very end, comment #1ham in the comments below. And that way I know you watched the whole video. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.